You may have heard the phrase once in a blue moon be spoken a lot about this past May. And as we're moving into June, there is a new energy in the air. But once in a blue moon can be said to, something happens once in a blue moon, the impossible made possible, especially the moon being in Sagittarius. But this affects each of us differently. And sometimes the thing that helps move us forward can be very uncomfortable. It can be like a purging, because we also have the planet of Uranus in Gemini, and we are in Gemini season. We are feeling the unexpected in many different ways. The houses in our birth chart determine the areas of our lives that this can affect. So for example, I have Gemini in the 6th house, and this can deal with our health and daily life. And during this past month, I had this old tooth infection come back from dental work that was not properly done or sealed. And that really had to do with many areas of my life. Like, I'm 34 now. This affected me 7 years ago. This affected me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all the way back to when I was 9. And I had very extraneous, horrible work done where I had no autonomy over my body. And so as I am moving forward in my life, the area of the house and that is ruled by Virgo in our daily life and our health, and I really think is connected to the divine feminine and our daily autonomy, was taken over. And then, all of the stuff that I had been working on, I'm opening up a studio, I'm doing a lot of stuff, had to be worked through in the midst of all of this old trauma and pain that came to the surface that needed to be released. And sometimes we can't continue to move forward when this happens. Sometimes it's impossible to continue to move forward because you're dealing with so much pain from the past. And when we see these videos that are all talking about once in a blue moon, just wait till the end of May and your life will be completely different and all of the sunshine and roses will be there, and then you end up in a really hard position, it can feel really hard to believe in the movements of astrology actually working for you. But this affects us all differently, and we all equally have to deal with the fun and the hard. And sometimes actually those hard things from the past that were still blocking us from receiving what is to come next have to come up, and these really hard times end up happening. And it's really helpful to have some insight into the path ahead that isn't just saying, once in a blue moon is when the miracles occur. Because I just want to give a broader perspective right now. We are in the year of the fire horse. And since the year of the fire horse has started, there has been a lot to deal with, both astrologically and planetarily on this earth. It has been, a shit show. And it's really hard to comprehend and understand when you have an empathic nature, when you have a heart that reaches out, that sees all of the suffering, and it makes no sense. Right now is the dawning, it's already dawned, but the age of Aquarius. And what that means is that the North Node axis of the Earth is going to the Aquarius constellation. And also what is happening right now in the nodes of the moon that create our eclipse seasons is we are having that North Node move into Aquarius. It's connecting to the new age within ourselves and how we embody it and how we move through it based on our own personal familial karmic patterns that we all come into this world in, and we have to move through our meat suits to try to understand what is going on. And we're trying, but you know, it's a journey of remembering who we really are in the midst of a lot of lies about who we are, about what is possible for ourselves. And with all of the astrology that's going on, it is about revolution. It is about power to the people. It is about standing up and saying no more. But we have a chance now in this information age to do it in a much smarter way. Not to say that the ways before weren't smart for the tools that they had at the time, but we have different tools now, and our tools can be our voice. That's why Gemini speaking up, you know, Gemini, another air sign, Aquarius is another air sign. Even though it is the water bearer, it is the one that moves, the voice that comes to heal us all. And as we have Gemini season really going strong, use your voice to speak for what you believe in, because this is how we will be remembered. This is how we will change the things that feel impossible to change. It's by standing up for what is right and doing it in a way that is aligned with our own integrity, and knowing and trusting that we will continue to speak up. We will continue to share our voice, and we will not be silenced. The people will not be silenced. The people will be heard. That is the lesson of the age of Aquarius. So this summer is about the transformational change. This is the summer of the eclipse seasons of Aquarius and Leo. And this is our final eclipse coming up on the Virgo Pisces axis at the end of the summer. So we are closing out the Piscean age. The South Node in Virgo and the North Node in Pisces that we have just gone through, because the nodes go backwards as well. So this has been telling us where we have given our power away to a higher power that isn't connected to us. So there is the higher power of letting go of your ego enough to not be blinded by something greater that is affecting everything. But then there is the distortion that was used to control the world through oppression, religious indoctrination, and that speaks of the shadow side of Pisces and the Piscean age that we've moved out of, where you're basically telling people that their connection to anything greater and a higher power must be found through some authority that can control them through fear. That is what is changing. That's what's changing in our minds, and we already feel it in the world. And as we dismantle these belief systems and we start creating our art and our work, and we bring our purpose to life, we connect to those who see things the same way as us. And that is why we actually have the opportunity to move forward now. There is a continuous process. The impossible has been made possible, and this energy is going to reverberate. Jupiter is in Cancer now, but is going into Leo this summer. So Cancer and Leo season is when we can really embody this new version of ourselves and find a light that we've always seen has always been shining from within.